Today we're going to meet every horse on the yard. Come on, let's see them. So every horse of ours lives out. Most of them live out full time. We're so lucky we have really, really dry land, so we can have them out all winter. I like keeping their management very natural. I like it that they can all socialise and have ad-lib forage at all times and just live very, very natural lives, stress-free. First off, let's go and meet. First field we've got Kitty and Zuri. Kitty's a pony and Zoo's a youngster. We'll go and learn a bit more about them. What's up there, you div? Stiggies! So, Zoo's 4 this year. Last year we got her used to tack, and me being on her, she will be backed over the winter. She'll get going away again. And then if we could try and get to some training shows and little events next year. Whoa, Ziggy! We bought Kitty as an unbacked 5-year-old. My sister, with a bit of help from Mum and I, backed her. It was the first project she had to back. She was supposed to be for sale. Hey, Zoo. She was supposed to be sold after that. It was supposed to be a bit of fun, do her up and sell her. But of course, like every horse on this yard, we fell in love with her and she never went anywhere. So she's now ridden by Chloe, my parents' godchild. She's quite fizzy, quite sharp, but there's not a nasty bone in her body. But the best thing about Kitty is she's got some tricks. Smile. Good. Kitty's award is probably most irritating. I've got a trick pony behind there. Foley stood on the mats. She really, really riles up quite a lot of the horses. Don't know what it is about her. She's in their face all the time. So she only gets on with a certain amount. Dora, who you probably meet later in the series, can't stand her. And we did try turning them out once and it didn't go very well. Poor Kitty got chased around quite a lot. So yeah, she's great for youngsters though, because they like to play, and she is probably as wild, if not wilder than all of them. She's always up for a party, aren't you, Kits? But I will say the one great thing about our 2 ponies, Kitty and Bee, who you can see over there, is even though she's spicy, she's fiery, on a lead rein she's great, and once a week they go to RDA, riding for the disabled, and disabled kids ride them round. They do 2 sessions once a week. Bee's been doing it for over 20 years now. My mum's been taking them for 23 years. It's a great thing to get involved in. I would highly recommend it. And if you have a pony and you think, I don't know that mine will be suitable, we have taken every pony we've ever had, from raw, unbacked 5-year-olds who we've then recently backed, to our oldest and most dear pony over there, Bee, who's 32, nearly 33 now. In the fence! Stop it! No! So all the foals are teething, which means they have gone a bit manic for eating the fence, which I did creosote to try and stop them doing, but they don't seem to care. Before we get to the foals, we'll go and see George, who's very patiently and quietly standing over here waiting for some attention. Ow! He's not very good at eating treats. That was probably his worst thing. He doesn't have very dexterous lips. Is that the right word? He tends to put your whole hand in his mouth. But here's my special boy, who I love dearly. I tried him when he was just backed at 3, hadn't even really jumped. And yeah, he's just gone from strength to strength. He's only just sort of feeling stronger now. But yeah, so he went and finished the season at 3-star. His big aim would be to try and go to the 8 and 9-year-olds at Blenheim at the end of next year. But we miss it, we miss it. Naughty foal. She's so cheeky. This field, we have the lovely Willow. This is Willow. She was born this year. You briefly met her in the Falling at 4-star video that we put on.
Which you can check out.
Which you can check. Yeah. So you can check her out in the Falling at 4-star video, which was the first video we published. In that, I mentioned briefly that she's actually an embryo transfer foal. So Bonita here, she's absolutely lovely mare. She's got great personality. She was actually my brother's polo pony, but she now can't be ridden. So she has taken to being a surrogate mare. She's good at keeping the youngsters in line. Pogo was the first foal she rid, and Willow is the second. So we actually take an embryo from Twiggy and we implanted it into her. She's done a really good job of raising these and keeping them in line because they both take after Twiggy a bit and they're sassy. So you can see she's just losing her foal coat now and growing this new, more adult coat underneath. Yeah. This is Pogo. He's now 2 years old. He is by future guilty pleasure and he's out of Twiggy, but Bonita here raised him. He's really smart looking now. I'm quite pleased with how both the 2-year-olds look. So next year we will get them used to tack, saddle and bridle, and I will probably teach them how to lunge and long line, and I'll sit on them briefly, but I won't do too much because they've still got an awful lot of growing to do. I mean, he's got a whole other year until that happens anyway, but you can see how immature he is. And of course, we'll do videos on those when they're ready. But I don't like to do too much with them when they're too young because I like them to socialise, grow up, make sure they're not really strong. But we'll just give them a little bit of education so that they know how to behave when it comes down to it. So here we'll come and meet Skittle. Georgie, chucking his buckets around. His are always broken. This is Skittle. She's also by future guilty pleasure. So Pogo is...
Twiggy!
Pogo and her share the same sire, and Willow and Pogo share the same dam. So they're all sort of related. Oh goodness. So Skittle is greying out. So she was born bright chestnut, but she's out of my lovely mare Dora, who is grey and by a grey stallion. So there was no hope that she wasn't going to be grey. So she is now greying out. So she's gone this lovely sort of strawberry roan colour, and she will just keep getting whiter and whiter with age. And by the time she hits about 15, I think she'll just look white, completely white. So I'm very, very pleased with how she turned out. Her conformation is absolutely fantastic. And when we talk about conformation, we're talking about the way their legs are set on, the way their neck comes out of their shoulder. We try and choose mares with good conformation and a good background so that we know that the foals we produce are going to be good as well. Really good start in life. They've not been rushed and taken too quickly. There's no, hey, out my space. So there, things like this, like she just needs to learn that this is my personal space. And although she's very cute and we love her, she's not quite allowed to just barge into it, because imagine that, scaled up to that size, suddenly you're in trouble when she's coming in and she's pushing you around the place.
That was wonderful.
Naughtiest award, also escapee award. She ended up in the field here with George yesterday, and that wasn't great. Bless him, George was a very good boy because he can be quite assertive over others, but I don't think she's really a threat yet. You might see her doing her foal clacking in a minute, but she's not that bothered about George. And when they clack, it's an appeasement thing. It shows they're submissive. Bonita, Best Mum of the Year award. She's super tough with the foals, but lovely with people. It's exactly what you want out of a mother mare. Keeps the foals in line, but teaches them that people are good. Pogo. His award is the one that eats the most fencing. And I don't know, Skittle, maybe the coolest colour award. Skittle's got a lovely personality. She's very gentle. She gets that entirely from her mother, Dora. So we have actually already produced one of Dora's foals up to 100 level, and then she was sold because she was just not big enough for me. I'm quite tall, so she didn't grow big enough. But she's gone on and she's making a 14-year-old girl incredibly happy. So another way that we've winter-proofed the paddocks, every field has a big double shelter so they could all get out of the wind and rain. If I'm honest, they use it way more in the summer to get out of flies than they do in the winter, but they are clever and they do go in, and we have got hay feeders at the back to encourage them to go in when it is really wet. This is our oldest resident and most long-standing. I got Beezy when I was 9, so she's lived here for 20 years. She's 32, nearly 33 years old, and she's still going to RDA, and she is ridden a little bit by my nieces and nephews, and also my parents' godchild again, Chloe. She's fantastic. I did absolutely everything with this pony. This was probably one of the best ponies you could ever have.
Yeah.
I'll show you what we call a swing vault. No, I obviously don't ride her anymore. That's about all I do. You're such a good girl. I'm getting on a pony without a hat, but I know Beezy so well. Yeah, Beezy's imparting some wisdom to the young guns, but really she just likes to squeal at them. So the only reason that Beezy's in here by herself is she doesn't have that many teeth anymore, so she can't eat hay. So we feed her, in the winter we feed her 4 times a day. She gets big buckets of mash. But if I took her rug off, you'll see how well she looks. She looks absolutely amazing for it, but she's just in here by herself with friends over the fence, but by herself so they don't steal all her mash, which they do. Poor Beezy gets bullied off, don't you? Because you're little. This is Pogo. She's a 5-year-old mare. She is now currently owned by a syndicate, and it's enabled me to keep the ride on her, which is lovely. She came over from Ireland, pretty much feral. And I backed her last year as a 4-year-old, and she's just gone from strength to strength. She's been absolutely fantastic. We did the 5-year-old classes, not that many. We didn't have to do any extra work to get there, which was nice, because I always think as long as you can go without having to change your training to get there, then it's fine. But if you have to push a young horse to get to the 5-year-old classes, you're probably doing too much with them. But she's had her first season this year, and she's jumped clear show jumping at every single one. We had a run out, well, I don't think you can call it a run out, her first event on the cross country. She didn't have any shoes on and she just slipped behind and we just sort of went past it. But other than that, she jumped double clear everywhere. She came 3rd in her first ever 100. She came 3rd in her first ever 90. She's been at the top 10, in the top 10, 5 out of her 6 runs. So like I said, it's only been Pogo's first season. But if you are ever interested in owning an event horse, syndicates are great ways to go. It just helps keep your costs down. There's a real sense of community. It's lots of fun. It's just great. It's great following them around and enjoying the event and having a bit of skin in the game. Now we're going to see Twiggy the Evil. So we're going to go and see Twiggy, who has a bit of a reputation for being a nasty girl. She's not as bad as everybody says. She's just a mare with very clear personal space and boundaries, and she doesn't like being faffed with. So Lucas, who's operating the camera, is personally quite frightened of her. But we'll see. She's a big softie at heart.
We are getting better, to be honest. We are getting better.
But yeah, she does have a rep. Just because she would be the first one, if she doesn't want you in her space, she's going to tell you about it. She's not shy. The 2 that I haven't mentioned yet are Dora and Beanie. Dora was my first horse off Ponies, and I took her all the way up to 3-star. And Beanie, who has been my absolute stalwart, horse that I did my first advanced on, first 4-star on.
JC riding Been Around.
Beanie's got a bit of a story. She was bred next door to my granny's. She went to Nicola Wilson. They never thought she was going to be a top horse. My auntie and my cousin went to see her. They really liked her. They thought she was special, but she wasn't sound. And also I don't think they ever thought she was going to do what she did, as in competing to the level she did. Wait, dogs. So my auntie Sarah, off you go, actually sort of gifted her for free. And my cousin had a few years very happily competing on her, and then when she moved down south and grew up, which I suppose I never did, I just stuck doing ponies, my auntie said, would I like to have a go at riding her? And she was at novice level then, and we just kept plugging up through the levels, and she ended up coming 3rd in a 4-star at Bless. So You'd never think you could do that on a horse you got given for free, would you?
Wow.
Every horse that you put the time in, I think a lot of people would have just brushed over her and not put the time in, but luckily my auntie saw something special in her, and then we just kept moseying up through the ranks. Don't get me wrong, we would never be first off to dressage, but she was a very good jumper. But I could have 3 down at novice level, and I went from that to, in 2023, she came 3rd in the equi ratings for double clears at 4-star. So
A free horse.
Free horse, but took a lot of time, and I had to change my jumping technique completely, me as a rider, to suit her. But it all came together, it was great.
Cool.
So this is Branston. Branson we actually don't technically own anymore, so we bought him as a 4-year-old. And bought him originally for my sister whilst we were looking for Twiggy. So we bought Twiggy and Branston in the same year. Branny was a little bit of we just went to see him and we just fell in love with him, because how could you not? Look at him, he's adorable. So she had a bit of fun with him, and then we found Twiggy, who was actually what we were really looking for. And they're just the best of friends because they've lived together since they were youngsters. And I actually, when I worked for Harry Mead, took Branston down with me because Dora was in foal at the time. So I had a good lot of fun with him. And he jumped hundreds very successfully. And then when we were looking at going sort of up to novice level, we thought it was just sort of above his comfort zone. So we then sold him to our close friend Izzy, who still keeps him here. This is what I mean about Twiggy's personal space, just getting grumps with the dog. Yeah, so we're very happy that we didn't have to say goodbye to him, because like I say, we're very soft, and a lot of them stay probably longer than they should do on this yard. But yeah, so that's Branston's story. He's full thoroughbred, but he is still the horse that I've got my record dressage score on, and I scored a 16 on him in 100 once. So that was pretty impressive, wasn't it? You're very good. And then this is, of course, Twiggy, who we all met in the first video, falling at 4-star. We're not normally falling. She was bought for my sister, and she hadn't done anything. She was a 5-year-old at that point. She'd done a couple of team chases and that's it. See the horses. Branson's the boss in the field, which is funny because Twiggy's the real grump, but he knows I've got treats in my pocket. Yeah, so Twiggy, my sister did everything from Pony Club to her first 90s, and then finished doing her last event at 4-star level. Yeah, so Twiggy now is on her holidays. She will have about 2 months off. Just give her brain and her body a nice break. She can just chill in the field with Branston. Not that she doesn't do anything but chill in the field, even when she's in work, to be fair. And then she'll do a bit of show jumping and a bit of dressage over winter, and then come out in probably March at Osby, and she'll probably come out and do intermediate as a nice warm-up run. And then the spring aim for Twig is Bramham, and then the autumn aim would be a 4 long, and the ultimate aim is to try and do a 5-star, but who knows?
This or that, badminton or Burley?
Oh, I don't know. I think we'd probably go abroad first and maybe do Po.
I'll give you 2 options, badminton or Burley.
Burley.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's closer to home. It's the one I sort of grew up going to more.
See, everyone seems to talk about badders and badminton and...
Yeah, I know, but that's because most event riders are based in Gloucestershire. It's their local. And Burley's known for being really big and hard. Yeah, so Bramham was a big learning curve for me when I did go. I put a lot of pressure on myself. We'll do a video showing sort of what happened. There were some real highlights, and there were some slight low lights as well. Yeah, so we'll talk about Bramham in the Beanie video. You can come along and and see how we fared. But fingers crossed, we'll be there in the spring and we'll be able to do another Brahman video on Twig. Cuties!